Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everybody is having a great day so far. Let me go ahead and see who we have in here today. We have Jake, Indiana, Random Guy, Sam, Caleb, Sebastian, Port Arthur. We have Shorts as well as Catman and Randall and Marcus all in the live stream today. Welcome everybody who is watching, may not be chatting, or if I missed you, welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you in here. Let's go right ahead and switch on over to our main live stream scene here. Welcome Pete and Gaming as well. I'm going to go ahead and press, there we go. That one's good. And I think we are good to go. Right date, January. Yeah, okay. Just triple checking that because I've actually checked it like 2 times before and then it was still wrong and I missed it. So yeah, let's go ahead and I guess we'll start with, well, shoot, I don't even know what to start with here. Let's start with something in the outlooks here. We'll go with day 3 probability for around 4 inches of snow here. I'll also take off those watches and specifically watches and advisories there. So this is where we're looking at the best chance for 4+ inches of snowfall or around 4 inches of snowfall. It's going to be here north of Dallas, all the way back up towards Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee, also including portions of Alabama. We also have a better risk, a moderate risk there for 4+ inches of snowfall across portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Mississippi. The other thing I want to show you guys whilst I just have it pulled up is the severe weather index here, the WSSI. Let's see if it works. Looks like it's going to be a no. Oh, it's just a little slow. But there's your day 3 risk for impacts there. We're expecting a major winter storm over Dallas and surrounding areas. And potentially some extreme impacts depending on where our greatest band of ice sets up in portions of Texas as well. Now, it is very, 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 very important to note this is only until Thursday. This does not include our main day of snow, which will be Friday into Saturday. This only goes out to Thursday, day 3. So our biggest day, which again is going to be Friday, which will include a very large majority. This whole area here is going to be at risk for seeing snow on Friday, and then Saturday it will move into the eastern side of the U.S. Both of those big days are not included inside this index just yet. Only day 1, technically, which is technically day 3, but it's day 1 of our major impacts, is included in this outlook here. So if you're not in the shaded areas out here in Tennessee and Kentucky, don't worry, you will be in tomorrow's update. I'll go ahead and pull those advisors back up. But yeah, it looks like Caleb probably slept through his alarm. Would not shock me. Marcus, you said Abilene, Texas. I got to be honest with you. If I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, which I try my best to be, I think the threat for a major winter storm, despite what the officials say, has actually decreased so substantially to the point where I would be shocked if we get anything more than about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall in Dallas. I do not see this being a major winter storm anymore. Yesterday, model runs were starting to say a foot of snowfall. Today, every single model run you look at has completely backed off with the major potential of this snowstorm here, except for the European model. I think the Euro model is the only model run that is still hanging on to major winter storm impacts in Texas. The Icon model has backed off. GFS model run has backed off. The CMC model run has backed off quite a bit, but it still shows widespread areas of upwards of 6 to 7 inches of snowfall. But I do believe that our threat for a winter storm in this area has definitely decreased. A major winter storm has decreased. I do believe we'll still see the threat for 2 to 4 inches of snowfall in this area, with maybe isolated 6 inches of snowfall. But a major winter storm, where we see what the European model run is currently predicting of around a foot of snowfall, I just don't see that happening in Texas. Personally, we'll see what trends go towards tomorrow, because it's definitely possible that we trend back towards a major snowstorm in Texas and Oklahoma. But right now, our trough ejection just doesn't favor it doesn't favor a major winter storm in this area. What it does favor, though, is a potential major winter storm in this area here. I saw somebody, where was that? Ponderosa, Huntsville, Alabama. I think this area in here, specifically the southern area that I've circled here, that area, I believe, has the best chance at major impacts now. So that would be like Nashville, Franklin, Jackson, Memphis, back down towards central Mississippi near Tupelo, probably all the way till as far south as maybe even Fayette, or possibly as far south as Birmingham, Alabama could see some pretty heavy snowfall out of this. I'll show you just one of the many reasons why here. This is using the NAM 3, or rather the NAM 12K model run. Not the most accurate, but still a model run that is it's done fairly well with tracks of winter storms, just not the overall snowfall's intensity. It overdoes snowfall quite a bit, but the track is generally correct with your NAM model. So if you're in Birmingham, I think you could see a lot of mixed precipitation, possibly some snow up to 2 inches there. But Huntsville, like I said, this area in here, right on that rain snow line, which should be generally in this whole area here, is where we should see the heaviest of snow out of this system. Currently, if we look at what the NAM is predicting out here, you can see that swath of about 6 inches of snowfall out here in most of northern Alabama. And I do think that this will increase more as well for north central Alabama. It is uncertain on how much you guys will see in Huntsville, but right now I would say 2 to 4 inches of snowfall, which for Alabama, northern Alabama, that is that could cause major impacts. That could be a major snowstorm, especially once you get closer to those 6 inches of snowfall totals there. Back out here in Texas, the NAM model, like I said, I personally do believe that we will see widespread at 2 to 4 inches of snowfall in this area, and an isolated area up to 6 inches of snowfall in and around the Dallas area. But I do not see those big solutions like we were seeing yesterday, where we could see up to a foot of snowfall in and around Dallas. It looks like the National Weather Service, if we switch on over to their official forecast, I believe they're most confident in south central Arkansas seeing the most snow out of this. Yes. South Central and Central Arkansas is where they are most confident of the heavy snowfall, the heaviest of snowfall occurring. So I agree with that. I think it's going to be in and around Central Arkansas, back out here towards Alabama and Tennessee. Generally, that area, maybe a little bit more south. It's just going to depend on that snow rain line. We'll have to see that once we get some higher resolution model runs, 48 to 36 hours out. This only goes 60 hours out, so, you know, out here in Huntsville, their official forecast right now is 1.5 inches of snowfall. That is only valid until the morning of, I believe, Friday. Let's see, today is Tuesday, right? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, this is valid until the morning of Friday. Out here in Huntsville, you won't be getting that heavy snowfall until most likely Friday evening into Friday night will be your heaviest snowfall in Huntsville, Alabama. So this doesn't count for the additional 2 inches of snowfall you're probably going to see after Friday morning. So also want to point out this, anybody who lives in North Carolina and Virginia, as well as northwestern South Carolina, should be watching this system closely. We've had quite the uptrend in our trough ejection for us out here in the Carolinas and as well as in Virginia. If we look at the orientation of your trough ejection, everybody knows in the eastern United States you want to see a negatively tilted trough ejection because that overall will favor a nor'easter. So if I don't think I could pull this all the way back out, but basically our trough has trended more south. On every model run, it has trended more south overall. So what that should allow for is that should allow for this to dig more into the Gulf of Mexico and trend towards a southern track, more like generally that, probably not that far south with your low pressure. It would be more like this. But still, overall, your low pressure has definitely trended more south. Thanks, actually, look at that. I was actually almost right with that first track I drew. Look at that. The NAM model actually has it hugging the coastline here of the southern Gulf of Mexico. So just our overall trough ejection has trended more to the south, which will in return increase snowfall potential. If you live in about this area here, that's where your snowfall potential has increased drastically over the last 24 hours. Unfortunately, if you live out in the Dallas area, back out in this region here, that's where it has decreased drastically because your low is more to the south, which means that it's going to take a little bit longer for that cold air to interact with the moisture that our low pressure brings, and thus it will have a later snow interaction. So you can see here on the NAM model, it does bring snow to northeastern Texas, but look at all the freezing rain and the mixed rain, or rather the mixed precipitation, and also some very light snowfall on Thursday. It's not all snow, it's very mixed precipitation in Texas. And then as you get towards Thursday night, when those temperatures cool, you do end up picking up, you know, like I said, between 2 to 4 inches of snowfall, isolated 6 inches of snowfall in and around the Dallas area. And then look at this. Friday morning, our low doesn't rapidly deepen, but it deepens pretty quickly to the point where we see quite the intensification in our snow bands here. Specifically want you to pay attention between the 1018 millibar and our 540 line right in here. Right in the middle of those two lines is where our snow will be the heaviest. You see how tight those lines get here. Here's your 1018 millibar line and your 540 line. That's where your heaviest of snow occurs on this model run. And if you pull that out even further, now look at it. Your 1018 line, I can't see it specifically here, but I believe I think this is your 1018 line right in here, close to there. And your 540 line, look how large that is now. So that's going to bring a lot more snowfall potential to this area in here. But unfortunately, of course, low pressures also bring warm air with them in front of those low pressures because of how they spin. Low pressures spin like this, so they bring in cold air behind them, warm air in front of them, hence how we normally get severe weather from low pressure systems. And that's going to allow for it to be a little bit too hot in the upper atmosphere over North Carolina. You can see here, central North Carolina, even South Carolina, you're at freezing, right? You'd think, oh, wow, we're going to get a lot of snowfall. But because of that warm air in front, you're not going to get as much snowfall there in central North Carolina, most of South Carolina and Georgia, because of that warm air that's being brought up in front of your low pressure system. And that allows for, unfortunately, a very dangerous ice storm over portions of the Carolinas into Georgia, but a winter snowland if you live up here in Virginia into north central North Carolina. A big winter wonderland up there. Now this doesn't go all the way out, but I imagine if the NAM did finish and it went out even more, it would probably show this area in here getting between 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. So that, I mean, you can see, look at that. Like I said, your 540 line, generally in here, and your 1080 line, which I don't see anymore. I don't think that's even, or your 1018 rather. I don't see that anymore. So you've got your 540 line, your 1018 line's probably way down here now. But generally you can see that large area of cool air towards the surface out here. But again, because of how low pressure spin out here in the Atlantic, you're going to get some warm air that's brought up. I'll show you that here. We can't go, can we go up here? Nope. I can't show you. Well, there you go. Maybe this one. So you can see those greens. See the green temperatures get pulled up into South Carolina, North Carolina right in here. The light blues into the greens get pulled up into the Carolinas. That's right at, if not just barely above freezing, and that's enough to have more of an ice storm look here in South Carolina and North Carolina. But again, because your 540 line is right in here and your low pressure is further south, that's going to set up your heaviest band right in that area, at least on this particular frame. This is a common trend with a lot of model runs as well. It's not just the NAM model. Another model run that actually shows this panning out a lot more significantly is actually the CMC model run. We won't be able to see our 540 and our 1018 line as well on here. Let's do at least where we can see snow. So there's your 540 line in here. And your 1018 line is, I believe, somewhere around this general area here. So if we pull this on out, there you go. Again, because your low pressure brings warm air out in front, you end up with a very messy central North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia ice storm. But to the northwest, where you're closer to those freezing temperatures, that heaviest band of snowfall sets up right pretty much on your 540 line out here. And that allows for just a big pile of snowfall here across southern Virginia into northwestern, north central North Carolina, just like I was talking about with the NAM model. Now, something the CMC also does is it definitely is one of the more aggressive models in terms of our snowstorm here in Texas. You can see it takes that very aggressive, heavy band of snowfall, and it actually forms it really early out here across near the Dallas area. But the only thing that I do hate about this on Tropical Tidbits is if we look at this, this is not accurate because it includes sleet as well. So this is not going to be the most accurate one here. It's also your 10-to-1 ratio, which is not the most accurate snowfall product. But still, generally, this would be showing just a guess around widespread 10 inches of snowfall in this area here. If you took out the sleet as well as the bias that your 10-to-1 ratio has. If we look at the icon model run, that shows what I believe is going to be a more likely case scenario here. Oh, actually, this is your new one. I have not looked at this for the Carolinas, so we're going to see what this shows together. Same thing, same thing, same thing. Right here in north central North Carolina, northwestern North Carolina, southern Virginia, you get that band of heavy snowfall that sets up here. And to the south, this would probably be... this appears to not have mixed precip, but I would imagine that this would all be generally mixed precipitation to ice that I just circled in here. But that is a very common trend where we have that heaviest band of snowfall right across most of Virginia into portions of central and northwestern North Carolina. European model run, that is similar, but it shows it a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter snowfall here on your European model run. I don't believe that's going to be able to... Yeah, we're not going to be able to see any snowfall totals with that unless we go over to your College Due page. European model run, snowfall totals. Even that, you could still tell where it would have that heaviest band of snowfall set up very, very, very easily. It's just not that heavy because something goes wrong here. If I had to guess, it would be your low pressure just gets way too weak and disorganized, and your trough pulls in front way too much, and so that allows for maybe not enough moisture to be fed up into the Carolinas. Can't really tell too much on what's happening, the difference between why your snowfall rates are so much weaker on your European compared to your GFS. I don't really know a whole lot about why that's happening. But if I had to guess of which model run's handling this system the best, in my opinion, it's going to be the Icon model run. I know that is a little bit aggressive for my area, so it's kind of just a biased for me. But personally, I do think this is handling it best compared to the, or rather, due to the trough ejection trends that we've had. I think we're going to see, and it might be a little bit too passive here on Texas. I don't think we'll see absolutely no snow over the Dallas area. So it may be a little bit more incorrect with that. But generally, I think this has it down in terms of our snowfall possibilities and snow total possibilities out here from Kentucky into the southern United States into the mid-Atlantic. I actually didn't look at... What does that show further west? I don't know. That is... I don't feel like it's handling the western part of this at all. Like, from this whole area here, I feel like it's just not handling anything in that area well whatsoever. It does have Catman getting some snow. So, I think the Icon model is handling the eastern portion of this threat the best. But the western portion of the threat... Okay, this includes sleet. I was about to say, what the heck? What is going on here? This includes sleet, so let's go back to College of Dew page, so that way it doesn't include sleet. There you go. This does not include sleet. Probably the GFS, honestly. I think the mixture between the GFS and the Icon model run. Like, if we had a model run that showed heavier snowfall here, like the Icon model, and also a model run that showed heavier snowfall back in this area, I think that would be the model run to be the most likely case scenario. If we look at your ensembles, your newest ensembles here, newest ensemble, this is going to be your 18Z ensembles on your GFS model, and you could see very clearly your two heavy batches of snowfall here. One in southeastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, into a good chunk of Arkansas, and then a very heavy band over Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into far western Carolinas. So generally, it is one big, large, heavy band right in here. And that is your mean accumulation, so that's your most likely scenario between 20 of your ensemble members compiled into one map. There's a chance you get up to an inch of snowfall out there in Illinois. Caleb. I wouldn't really be expecting anything more than an inch, even though the GFS is saying like 3-4 inches of snowfall. I think this area in here is where we're going to see 1 to 2 inches of snow. And that would probably include you. Probably would include you. Now, the people who are going to be the most disappointed with this system are the people who listen to the hypers on YouTube and TikTok saying major, extreme, historic 60 inches of snowfall coming to the northeastern side of the U.S. Because as you could see, just like we thought, it downtrended. We went from the GFS model run getting those absurd runs of showing 40 inches of snowfall over the DC area to literally downtrending all the way to like 2 to 3. So that's why I never trusted the GFS model run in terms of showing that big blizzard up here in the northeastern US. It was a full outlier. It was a full outlier. I mean, even now you could see it tries to do a blizzard or a intense snowstorm off the coastline of the New England states. But even then, it's not enough to drop it like 2 inches of snowfall out in the ocean. Nowhere near like the 40 inches we were seeing what, 3-4 days ago on this model. So, yeah, you can very clearly tell where this snowstorm is going to track. Very, very obvious where it's going to track here. It will also bring some lake effect areas up here towards Michigan, as well as back out here into Ontario and New York, as well as in the higher elevations of Vermont. We're also going to see some higher snowfall totals. But this doesn't look like a northeastern snowstorm. If you live anywhere away from lake effect areas, so anywhere in generally this area here, this doesn't look like a snowstorm for you in the northeast US. Let's see if they've issued any more watches here. So those are all your current watches. If we go over here to the Dallas Winter Storm Watch, they're now calling for between 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. I don't know if that's a downtrend or an uptrend, or if that's even new, but yeah, that's definitely a good forecast there. They don't say any higher accumulations than that are possible, which is very interesting. They don't say isolated areas up to 7-8 inches of snow possible. Oh, I don't know if I showed y'all the European model run. Let me show that real quick. I forgot if I showed that for Texas, but here's what it shows. I'm pretty sure this is like the only model run that shows this widespread of 9 inch, or rather 8 inches to a foot of snowfall possible. I mean, that's just absurd. What does it show for my area? I've already forgotten. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. I forgot, but then I had to check and remembered it. But I don't know what the European model run's really thinking here. I don't see a scenario where we see widespread snow like that, but maybe that's what happens. Maybe I'm dead wrong. But personally, I don't see a scenario where the European model run is correct here. How does it even... Are these the two same models? European 12Z, January 7th, European... Yeah. That just doesn't look like the same model runs. I don't get how, I guess so. That must be some of the heaviest snowfall ever right there. Because, I mean, you only get, like, right here near Dallas, you only get, like, 6 hours of the heaviest snowfall, and apparently the European model run drops... What, within 6 hours it drops 7-8 inches of snowfall, and then it's just a little light bit of snowfall behind it that accumulates an extra 2 inches. Jeez. Rap, I haven't even checked that. It shows it being too heavy? What? Let me see. I mean, I could see that happening. Maybe a little bit more northeast than what the rap is saying. That might be a little bit too far into Texas, in my opinion. But I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, that's generally what the NAM shows as well. With the trough, let's see. I mean, what it shows it being more elongated. Maybe not as solid of a ridge in the Gulf. So if anything, the wrap actually that's a more aggressive scenario, because this trough would definitely be able to traverse into the southeastern US and drop probably more snow than what the NAM's showing. I mean, we're expecting it to merge very fast. It should. That's what should happen. Let's see. I mean, in my opinion, it looks like generally the same. There's not too big of a difference there. Let me go back to 21Z. I mean, it doesn't start merging until about 15, between like 10 and 13Z Thursday on your wrap model. That's when it starts merging, right when this jet stream in here starts to connect with the west region of your trough. And the NAM model run shows it right about the same time, maybe a little bit sooner on the NAM. But either way, that's still going to be potentially a major winter storm on the wrap model. About 12 hours. I don't really see much merging happening. I mean, look, it's way up there, dude. It's still in southwestern Canada, 12 hours in. I mean, if you think this is merging, then technically the trough's merging now, right? Because it is connected up here. Yeah, this is 21Z wrap, 500 millibars. I don't see a big difference with it. Maybe that's just me. It looks like pretty much the same as our other models. Maybe there's some very minor adjustments here, but nothing that looks too crazy to me. Or you want me to look at 250? Yeah, that will do it, Catman. That will do it. Yeah, see 250, it's definitely merged there. But you want to look at 500. A lucky moment right there. All right. So, here's my take on the winter storm from after looking at all these models. I think the highest uncertainty, in my personal opinion, is going to be over this area right in here. Maybe a little bit more into Texas, but generally from about this line down into most of Texas and Louisiana, that whole area there is where our greatest uncertainty is, which is a bit bizarre because that's the closest time frame. You know, that's only 60-ish hours out before that area could see potentially major winter storm conditions, and it's where I think we have the greatest uncertainty. The next area would probably be at the exit region here when the trough leaves the U.S. What's going to happen there? And then there's, of course, some uncertainty with how this low pressure interacts with our low pressure down here and what happens in the middle there and generally this area. So there's still some small uncertainties, but the main uncertainties, in my opinion, is going to exist in northeast Texas, northwest Louisiana, southwest Arkansas, and southeastern Oklahoma. And then, like I said, once the trough exits there in eastern Virginia, Delaware, southern New Jersey, northeastern North Carolina. All right, next thing I want to show you guys, this is going to be the, who could see a winter storm watch issued here overnight. So this is the experimental winter storm outlook WSO from the Weather Prediction Center on the chance of an area exceeding winter storm criteria. So this is going to be for day 3 and day 4. So this goes out into Friday. And you can see there is a around 80% chance that we see winter storm watches issued out here in western Alabama. So really generally, if you're in the red, you're either already under a winter storm watch or you're going to be under a winter storm watch. So this goes all the way from probably the higher elevations in eastern Tennessee, in northern Georgia, all the way back out to where we already have those winter storm watches in western Tennessee and northern Mississippi. So this area here, We will see winter storm watches issued overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. And then eventually, right now, you see how this only has a 10 to 30% chance. We're probably going to see this area all in here get up to at least a 30 to 50, maybe even some spots of 50 to 80% chance of seeing conditions exceeding winter storm watch probabilities there, or conditions rather. This is it for freezing rain down here, and you can see days 1 through 4. Thankfully, doesn't look like we're going to see any major freezing rain events all the way till Friday. However, I would have a little question there for freezing rain. I don't think we could fully rule out ice storm potential in both this area here, right in here, as well as back out. I gotta pull it out in the Carolinas into Georgia. Yeah, right about in here. I don't think we can fully rule out ice storms in both of those areas. If not, then freezing rain that could cause minor disruptions. But I don't exactly know. I don't exactly know the criteria for ice storm warnings. I really haven't looked at that, to be honest with you. I've seen them issue ice storm warnings for 0.50 inches of ice, and then I've seen them not issue ice storm warnings for up to 0.75 inches of ice. So I don't really know what they do and don't issue ice storm warnings for. Next models, so GFS 0Z is going to start coming out probably around 11 p.m. Eastern, right around there, 10, 11 p.m. I think it's going to be closer to 10 p.m. because of our time change that happened a couple months ago. But honestly, I don't memorize the time global models come out. Oh, also, let's look at the official Weather Prediction Center forecast in terms of what they think this storm, or how they think this storm is going to progress. So here's the Weather Prediction Center. This is your official forecast. And yeah, they definitely have ice storm potential. Definitely ice storm potential in most of northeastern Texas into northwestern Louisiana there. This is Thursday morning into Thursday night that we're looking at. And as we go into Friday, geez, a large area of snow likely here. Very large area. And then Saturday, it skips over us out here in Virginia, North Carolina. Our threat for snowfall, I believe, will be overnight Saturday night, or overnight Friday night. Yeah. So by the time their next one's valid here, it's Saturday, they already have it pretty much off the coastline there. I gotta be honest with you. Little confused on the 12Z Saturday morning forecast there. Maybe they'll change that. Because here's the GFS versus the WPC. Now, obviously, they take the most likely case scenario, but for instance, if we go to the ensembles, every ensemble here, all 20 ensembles, wow, all 20 ensembles have snow in North Carolina and Virginia, 12Z Saturday, January 11th. And the WPC is calling for rain. So we'll see if they change that tomorrow, given we have seen a lot of uptrends today. So we'll see. I'm going to zoom in more here. Wow. I mean, holy cow. I'm gonna screenshot this. I'm gonna post this on Twitter really quick, because that is some really good agreement. Okay. There we go. That's just some... That's crazy. I didn't realize agreement was that locked in. That is like locked in completely there. Ensemble 14 has a bit of a later trough, so it delivers some snow later. Ensemble 19 just says, well, even then, on Ensemble 19, I still get snow. Ah. Still all the snow from Catman and Caleb out of this one. No snow for Caleb or Catman. I'm going to steal every last bit. I'm curious, any of them have a major blizzard here? Yep! Ensemble 5. How much snow does that have? That has like a very large area of 10 inches to 15 inches of snow over the northeast. So I wouldn't completely rule out snowfall in the northeastern U.S. out of this system, but there's a very low likelihood. I don't really think anybody's watching the northeastern U.S. for a snowstorm. All right, there we go. Let's see, Rome, Georgia. Let's see how far. Okay, so you are in northwestern Georgia. Hank, I'll look at yours in just a second. I apologize. I was already looking up this area. And I saw your comment. There is about a 30 to 50% chance you're going to end up inside a winter storm watch. There's a pretty good chance you're actually going to get one for either snow or ice potential. In terms of impacts, I would definitely say a solid 2 to 4 inches of snow is definitely a very real possibility. Ice is really difficult to say, but we're going to be looking at probably at least 1/10 of an inch of ice out there. So the main thing would be Saturday morning. Friday night, Saturday morning, try not to travel. Especially Saturday morning. Because that's when that ice could freeze over. Now let's go back out here to North Carolina. There's all your ensembles for North Carolina. And you can see most of them have a snowstorm. There's only a few that don't have a good snowstorm, like Ensemble 19, Ensemble 20 don't have a snowstorm. 16 doesn't either. And I'm pretty sure pretty much every other one does, yeah. Which, Hank, I can't even lie. What the heck is Ensemble 20 doing? Look at this. Ensemble 18 and 20. Watch. Look at them. Both of them, very heavy snowfall over our area. Ensemble snow, 18 makes more sense, but 20 just doesn't accumulate. Look at 20. It just says no. Like, Ensemble 18 and 20 are nearly the same scenario. And Ensemble 18 has a snowstorm. Ensemble 20th, nothing. Like, maybe a dusting, half an inch of snowfall. But you clearly see, like, literally 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours. You're looking at about 18, 20 hours of snow. And it just doesn't accumulate in North Carolina or Virginia. Like, what? Gracious. I was going to say, because I don't remember Ensemble 20 accumulating, like, nothing. I remembered that showing snow, which is why I went to check it. That's crazy. Northeastern and eastern Tennessee with this weather system. Definitely snow. You're definitely going to see a lot of snow. Definitely going to see winter storm watches. Probably going to see winter storm watches for the entire state of Tennessee out of this. Let's see. Let's look at your mean accumulation. So, yeah, there's your mean accumulation. All of Tennessee gets winter storm warning criteria conditions there. So, this is your most likely scenario. Widespread, I would say widespread 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. in this whole area here, with some amounts potentially getting locally higher than 6 inches possible. That's your most likely case scenario. Now there is a scenario where obviously we see this system completely bust for nearly everybody, but that's just the model runs we have right now. It could downtrend tomorrow, could uptrend tomorrow. But if we look at every ensemble, there's no way that you don't see snow in Tennessee. I don't see I don't see a single person missing out on snow in Tennessee. If you are in Tennessee, you are getting snow. I don't see a way that this system misses Tennessee. I ignore Ensemble 3. That sucker must have the low pressure down to the Caribbean or something for there to be snow in that far south. I mean, look at that. It just ignores any moisture over Tennessee and Kentucky. That low must be into the Caribbean or something. Hello, Legacy. Yep, you're definitely getting snow out of this one. That is for sure. At least 4 inches of snowfall, if not greater than that, for your area. Right now, most likely case scenario is 5 inches. About 5.5. If that's not in southeastern or east central Oklahoma, probably not going to get a lot. All right, that's southeastern Oklahoma where winter storm watches are. So that area is so tricky, but honestly, I would anticipate 3 to 6 inches of snow in that area. Right around there. Your National Weather Service says 2 to 5. Okay, we'll go with that. 2 to 5. Definitely around the realms of what I was thinking. I was 1 inch too high, but between 2 to 5 inches of snow is definitely a possibility. There's a chance it overperforms, but personally, I just don't see it being that likely. If we take a look at all of our ensembles, you see only a few of them have your area in purple, which is when it's greater than 6 inches of snow is in the purple. So there's an opportunity that it overperforms, but right now, definitely 2 to 5 inches of snowfall is a good forecast. I think we've really gone over everything here that I wanted to go over. Gracious day, look at that. Look at that large area for snow. Dude, that's giant. That's over half the US. Let me zoom out and see if I can find a frame of that. I think the Weather Prediction Center is overhyping. I think they're hyping. Yeah, but most of that area won't actually see accumulating snow. The only area where it will accumulate is like right in this area. That generally the whole white region you see there, that's where you're going to be seeing just, maybe flurries. Let's see, prediction for Raleigh. You're going to live, you're like right on that cut line for ice and snow. I was talking about it to Lucky earlier, even though he probably just ignored me. But I think that area is going to be great uncertainty. Either way, I think you're going to see at least some flurries. Whether it be a lot of ice and then some snow, I think you're going to see at least something out there in terms of some snow. However, there's definitely scenarios where you get absolutely demolished by 6 inches of snowfall out there. GFS model run has about an inch and a half, which I think is realistic personally. European has about an inch and a half as well. But I'm sure if we go to like the CMC, that's going to show a much higher total for you. Really quick, if we just go out there. Yeah, see, that shows closer to 2 inches of snowfall. But there's definitely a scenario where you could see up to about 6 inches of snowfall in Raleigh. Right now, if I were to give you my personal opinion, I would expect around 1 inch to 2 inches of snowfall in Raleigh with probably heavy mixed precipitation to potentially freezing rain Saturday morning. So if you have any plans Saturday, January 11th, I would highly recommend avoiding roads and trying to avoid travel Saturday morning if you live anywhere in probably most of North Carolina and Virginia. We're going to be trying to avoid travel on Saturday. I don't know about watches or anything. We'll see what that shows tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I might do an earlier live stream. I'm not too sure. Ooh. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, there's. I probably will do a little bit of an earlier live stream tomorrow, or somewhere just a little early. It may be closer to like 4 p.m. Eastern. Because I have plans in the evening hours tomorrow. So, all right, if you guys have any questions or any areas you want me to look at, go ahead and put them in the live chat. I've got about a spare 5 minutes here before we begin concluding the live stream. These 1 hour briefings always go by really fast for me because I love discussing all the weather information. And after this system, just in terms of long-term weather patterns, we are not done with winter, obviously. And we will most likely be tracking another, a moderate risk for dangerous temperatures. What? Let's see this. 15th of January. Oh my goodness. Yep. I am not going outside on January 15th. 18 degrees near my area. Between 18 to 23. Okay, well, this says 23. That's not terrible. It's not too terrible. No, I'm just kidding. That's horrific. I'm not going outside if it's 22, 23 degrees outside. Let's see. Heavy snow Friday? Yeah, that's definitely that's gonna happen, Legacy. East Tennessee and Charleston, West Virginia. I did do East Tennessee. I don't know if the person heard me do it, but I did. And Charleston, West Virginia. I was about to say what state. I'm pretty sure that's like West Central, like somewhere over here. Yep, exactly what I thought it was. I'd say between probably 1 to 3 inches of snowfall is possible out there. Let me look at the most likely case scenario here. Yeah, I'd still say about 1 to 3 inches of snow possible in that area. As you go towards Saturday morning. If you're anywhere in or east of the Appalachians, it's going to be Saturday morning for Impact Day. Oh, wow. Let me go over here. So, particularly dangerous situation for high winds out there in and around San Diego, I believe. Where is San Diego? Hold on. I need to make sure this is in the right area. There's San Francisco. Okay, yeah, there's San Diego. Yep. San Diego all the way along the coastline up towards Santa Maria. We have the potential for wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour in the evening and overnight hours tonight. That is in California. Also, there is a A crazy wildfire happening barely west of downtown LA. At least I believe it's barely west. I don't know if I can find it here. Yeah, it's barely west of downtown LA. It's right in this area. And apparently, it's already burned about 770 plus acres of land out here. And there's been mass evacuations happening in around that area. Gracious day. Alrighty. Well, we're going to go ahead and conclude here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm not going to promise a live stream tomorrow, but I will I might attempt to live stream sometime between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to get busy in the evening, so I don't know exactly when I'll go live if I do go live tomorrow. But we will definitely be live Thursday. Thursday is a 100% chance of a live stream. We are going to be live Thursday for sure. Yeah, Legacy, I wonder if you might get out Friday. Yeah, you should probably get out of school Friday. They will probably cancel school Friday, so you will most likely only have a 2-day school week. Just Wednesday, Thursday. They might delay it Friday, but it looks like cancellation day to me for Friday, so well, keep me posted on what your schools do, because if we were looking at 6 inches of snow out here in Virginia, everything would shut down. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. I will see you guys definitely Thursday, possibly tomorrow, in a weather live stream, and that's it. That's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, mods, for modding chat. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. And I will definitely see you guys Thursday. Like I said, possibly tomorrow. Thank you, mods, for modding chat once again. Stay safe. Watch the snowfall. And I will see you guys in the next live stream that I do. I still got just a few more seconds to ramble on here before I can start my outro music, so it ends on time. All right, there you go. Rambled long enough. Stay safe. Watch the snowfall. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the snowfall, and thank you, mods, for modding chat. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Goodbye.